Hello there, Ray here, and the latest snapshot is out. 1.13 pre-release 6, and this one comes with a ton of bug fixes and a couple new features. Remember guys, if you see a bug that's still in the game and annoys you, please tell me down in the comments. They added in a really cool feature that I'm really glad that they added, but you go up to mob and press F3 plus I, it will pretty much collect all the data about this entity, and then you can then paste it into any sheet that you want to. It just puts it into your clipboard, so I just paste it here in chat so you can see all the details that this zombie has. You can see if he has knockback. You can see all his different tags. You can see if he's like a leader zombie. This pretty much allows you to see stats that you normally wouldn't be able to see about a zombie, like seeing if he's a leader, if he can break doors, and other stuff like that. This also means you can go up to like a horse like this, or press F3 and I can get the details off of this horse. I can see exactly what the speed of this horse is. You wouldn't even have to run this horse through a speed test or a jump test. You know all the statistics of the horse, and you can do this in survival. You don't even have to have cheats on for you to be able to do this. This also works for blocks too, so you can look at a block and press like F3 and I, paste it in, and tells you exactly how to get that block. So pretty much same like the entities. If it's an entity, I'll try to summon the entity in for you with all the different data. If it's a block, I'll do a set block. Even works for like chests, although it doesn't give you the stuff that's inside the chest. What are you doing there, horse? So here you can see if I would come in and paste this one in, it's going to tell me the chest and everything about the chest, but it's not going to tell me what's inside the chest. They added some really nice features into the game with the F3 menu, so you can see it's up there right now. If you look at the top left corner up here, where it says integrated server at, then the number, and then milliseconds per tick. This allows you to see how long it takes the game to do one tick, which is 1/20th of a second. Now, at most, your game should be running at 50 milliseconds per one game tick. You can see mine's running at around 10 milliseconds or a little bit lower, so it's doing pretty good. So there is also these numbers afterwards. There is a number, and then there's TX. And we believe this has to do with maybe packets being sent. It might be packets per second, because if you would shake your mouse or move your view really quickly, you can get this up to 20, and you can't get it any higher than 20. So we thought maybe that's what it is. So there, I'm going to reach 20 pretty soon. Oh, there it is. And then if you hold still, then it goes back down to 1. And we believe that the RX has to do something with chunks, because if you move out into new chunks, somehow when you load new chunks, it makes the number quite a bit higher. As you can see, the number is going up to like 800, 900. And if you stand still, it can go down to like 200 or 300. So something to do with maybe the player loading chunks or how many chunks are being loaded by the server. For the past couple of snapshots, they have been changing the way that blocks will update when they are moved with a piston or by a player. As we've seen with observers, when they are placed by a player, they don't create any updates beside them. But this was causing some flying machines to break, such as this really simple one here, and this has now been fixed. So if I update this flying machine, you see that it will be able to fly, and hopefully this allows it so that other flying machines will work as well, but we'll have to test those to see if everything works perfectly. When they start doing changes like this, where you start messing with how blocks update when they are moved, it's going to create a lot of changes to do with flying machines, so definitely want to do a lot of testing before we actually say that this is fixed. In previous snapshot, you guys probably noticed that the TPS, which is the ticks per second, was quite low. This just means that your whole game is running very slowly. And I just started the debug, which allows us to see how slow the game is running. And then I'll just stop this, and then we'll see how well it's doing. Wow, they did improve it. So you can see right there, it's running at 20 TPS, which is what it should be running at. And in previous versions, it was running at like 10 TPS. Some people had 5 TPS, and mine average was around about like 15 TPS. So yeah, it looks like whatever it was, they fixed it. They fixed the bug with bone meal, where if you tried to bone meal a small grass, it would not make a tall grass. And now this has been fixed, so you can see we can make all little ones taller, and you can also make this into a type of seagrass farm. Let's see, if you would come in here and break the top one, would it give 2 seagrass? Yes, it does. So it's working. It also fixed the bug that was really annoying that I showed, where if you would try to bone meal any flowing water, it would allow you to put the bone meal there and actually create seagrass there as well, which would create water sources. And this was quite annoying. It was affecting my seagrass farm. In the last snapshot, I showed that they gave a bunch of the entities new names, and this was causing problems with the old entities because when they would upgrade, they wouldn't exist anymore. They fixed it so that the player can leave the swimming animation without leaving the water. So if I just stop pressing forward, my guy will sit upright. There was a weird bug that if you would update this redstone top, it would cause this observer to update. We looked at this one during one of our streams. Now this has been fixed. Dolphins were trying to go after items that were on dry land and were beaching themselves and dying, and this has now been fixed. One of the dolphin's fins was flipped instead of being mirrored, so I guess somebody noticed that and they fixed it. The dolphin's grace effect is now a part of the advancement How Do We Get Here? They fixed a nasty bug that was occurring when you placed on a shulker box. You wouldn't be able to open it up, and then if you tried to break it, the box itself would just disappear and you lose all your stuff. It was a strange bug that they fixed by having an Enderman egg inside of an item frame, And upgrading from your 1.12 world to 1.13, it would cause this whole chunk to regenerate as well. Upgrading from 1.12.2 to 1.13 pre-5 was causing games to crash. I even noticed when I was looking at the previous snapshot that it took me 7 different tries of reloading the world to actually get to completely load up. They said they fixed one of the bug reports, which I reported, which is that dolphins are generating with large amounts during structure generation. And here you see a boat that generated, but I don't see any dolphins that came with it. So far it looks like maybe they don't generate at all. Maybe they change it so that when dolphins spawn around a structure, they can see the structure and they'll point the players towards it instead of being generated with a structure. I guess we'll have to see. So I had some dolphins spawn in for the area around the ship over here, and this here is one dolphin, and I look at him using this command here, and you can see that here it's supposed to tell the coordinates of where the dolphin is supposed to take you to find the treasure, and this dolphin is not capable of finding the treasure in this ship over here. So the way that dolphins are supposed to work is that if you feed them, they're supposed to look around and find the nearest shipwreck and then lead you to it. Now it looks like this guy is trying to lead me to maybe this runes over here. So it seems to be working, although they don't spawn in with the ship, so they can just get like normally spawned in by the area around them. Then they'll just search around the area and find the nearest runes and take you there. The time in which the dolphin has been out of the water was not being saved if you would relog. They fixed it so the dolphins are no longer spawning in cold as well as frozen oceans. Picking up lava with an empty bucket was playing the water sound, and now it should play the lava sound. There was a funny bug where if you place a soul sand on top of a magma block, it would allow the water bubbles to continue going downwards, even though this soul sand should allow them to go upwards, and you can see this has been fixed. They fixed the no texture animation that was going with the beams with the ender crystals, and this is a funny thing that I showed in the previous snapshot review. Shulkers weren't shooting off missiles in the previous snapshot, and they have now fixed this. They said that they fixed torches that occur in strongholds as well as mine shafts, not being able to just sit there and float in midair, actually attached to blocks. So it seems to be fixed. Here we got one that is attached to stone block instead of being attached to this, which is a little bit odd, but at least it's not sitting midair. And there was another one around here somewhere. Just seen it right here. Here you see this one's attached to it, and it removed this wood here, so it's attaching. And it seems to be fixed, although there might be some cases where it still floats. There was a bug to do with cartographers not being able to sell the Ocean Explorer map as well as the one that allows you to find woodland mansions. And it seems that I tried this in previous snapshot and I couldn't confirm it, but they have fixed it. When placing down tile entities and then removing them, the game was still saving the ones that weren't existing in the game. They said they fixed generation with fences as well as other blocks being turned different directions that they weren't supposed to be turned, but it don't seem like it's completely fixed because here I have a boat and you can see that this fence is pointing towards this one, but this one is not pointing back. They fixed a pretty annoying bug for those people using a lot of commands. If you would push the arrow up key, it would allow you to go to the past in 1.12. But then during the snapshots, if you would go in and press the up key, it would sometimes give you options on what it wanted you to type out. The game was making it look like so that anything you typed in here was considered a valid thing to summon. So prior, you could type in something like this and it would show up as blue, but now they've changed it so only entities that really exist in the game will show up as blue. They fixed the old bug since 1.9 where players in single player could sometimes get kicked from their own world. It was a problem that if you opened up a landline and then you eventually left your world, the game would freeze. And this even happened to us on one of our streams. There was some problem with Z-fighting occurring with this animation of the player breaking this block, and this was just fighting with the actual block's colors. We still get these occurrences, which is a lake generating, and it will make these normal dirt blocks along the edges. And I would think that this should be grass, like there. Here you have some grass that's growing on dirt blocks. They also fix a lot more bugs, which I won't go over, mostly due with upgrading from older versions into newer versions, as well as some things not carrying over. I'm quite impressed by this snapshot. There was a lot of bugs that were fixed in this version, and I know a lot of those bugs that you guys talked about down in the comments have been fixed in this version, but if you know of one that is still in the game that you would like to get fixed, please tell me in the comments and I'll try to address it in a future video. I feel like we're getting really close to 1.13 full release with the aquatic update, and they may put out like 1 or 2 more pre-releases. It looks like just seeing the type of bugs that are still existing in the game that need to be fixed. So I want to thank you for watching, and if you guys found this interesting, show me a like and share this with others. If you'd like to see more 1.13 content as well as cool things I discovered in survival Minecraft, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell button, and tell me what you guys think about this down in the comments. Bye-bye!